A popular saying goes, worry no they carry last. And you'll agree that in the area of comedy, worry actually produces some of the top comedians Nigeria has ever produced. It's a pleasure to have African queen of comedy, Anita, real worry Pekin herself. Welcome to Rubbin'Minds. Anita, welcome to Rubbin'Minds.
Thank you so much. Thank you. How are you?
I'm well. It's a pleasure to have you here. I want to go right into the conversation because when it comes to that worry blend of comedy, it's really gained prominence in the 90s, that is growing up, the 2000s with stand-up comedy. But now that we have technology coming, we have skit makers, we have people who have taken their trade off the stage to online. Would you say there's been some kind of decrease in the love for stand-up comedy? Is it something that we might not see as much because of technology?
Oh, yes, you're very correct. If care is not taken, we will see that happen, right? But it's not just because of technology. It's not just because of technology. You know how the stand-up comedy industry is as regards Okubo.
Like
Okubo
sponsorship.
some money, you know.
Yes.
Online, you tend to make more money online. You know, you tend to make more money online when you do online skits, when you do online comedy. But offline, there's really not much money for now.
and when you compare both of them,
but of course,
when you compare both of them, you see that a lot of costs go into doing these shows. You have to sell tables, you have to look for sponsorship. So would you say that the value that is being offered to the sponsors is not as much compared to sponsors who would prefer to go and put their ads on online skits? Is it a thing of value, or is it a thing of preference of the end consumer and the people that are putting their money?
So I think it's a thing of value because it's actually different. If people advertise online, they get like instant, reactions, and of course afterwards, because it's going to be online for a while. But say stand-up comedy or rather shows is just one day, right? That's why it's good when you are doing stand-up comedy and you still have online presence, so you give much value to these brands. Like me, for example, my show is coming up and the show is not yet happening. It is, I think it's another week. It's on Sunday, but I've been doing a lot of promotions online so the brands could get value. So everything still depends on the stand-up comedian doing the show, and of course the arrangement between the stand-up comedian and the brands who is sponsoring.
Now let's go back in time. Was it always your dream to go into comedy, or is this something, because when you think about worry, you think most people from worry can make you laugh because it has such a famed reputation. But yes, is this something that was a dream from childhood, and who are the people that nurtured that dream? Who are the people you looked up to?
Okay, so it wasn't in the books, like it was not part of what I wanted. I never saw myself as a stand-up comedian. But of course, like you said, every average Wafarian is funny. Every average Wafarian is a comedian. The way we talk, our mannerism and everything. I read political science in school, and whilst I was in school, I was doing professional dancing. I used to dance professionally, host events, departmental events, faculty events here and there in school, and then as you host events, one or two things, they make everybody laugh, but in 2018, the in thing was, online skits, the online podcast. And again, to be a human being, you need to evolve. You can look and say, what you call they evoke? How can I make more money? And how can I, involve myself and make do with what I have, with what of the talent that I have, and which is stand-up comedy. So I started feeding it, I started learning it, started giving it food to make it, make sense. And that's how I found myself doing stand-up comedy and online comedy. So it was never in the books.
And who were the people you looked up to at that time? Were there enough female role models, enough females in the space? Or was it something that maybe even challenged you?
Say when you run for road, wait till they pursue you, now determine how you take run. and another thing where you go determine again, now wait till they pursue you. We fly or they pursue you, now you take run. So at that point, it's more than motivation. But of course, I always look forward to, I always look up to Boss AY, Boss Bovi. They actually, they've actually lived up to English hard. Anyways, so I'm
talk for the
wafi and actually helped my. I need to balance and that so not everybody understand pidgin. So Boss Bovi and Boss AY are one of the people who actually, even when I started, I had conversations with them. As a matter of fact, whenever I walk on my set for comedy, before I go perform, I'll call Boss Bovi. Bros, how far will see my set to? Then he helped me cross the T's and dot the I's and remove some things, had something to make it really, appealing and very strong. So those are one of the people I look up to in the stand-up comedy industry.
Now, the other part of the question was addressing female representation in the industry. Do we have enough female comedians? Are there things in place to encourage more women to get into that comedy space? Because it's interesting when you mentioned people you looked up to, Bovi, Boss AY. Yes. These are men.
Yes. There are no women. I think I can actually count them, that are really doing stand-up comedy right now. There's this girl, she's really hot right now. Her name is MC Royal. She's going to be in my show. She was in my show in Ghana. Because when I did my show in Abuja last year, I'm like, no female comedian. So I did a post on my page saying, if you know any female comedian, we're good, but not get platform, tag them. And I was shocked. I saw a lot of people tagged, and I reached out to them, via their DMs and all. It was just few of them who had like few videos of them doing stand-up comedy here and there, some of the other TikTok videos and everything. And I had conversations with them, and they'll tell you it's a male-dominated industry, and it's really hard. For a woman to be male-dominated industry, you need to work twice as hard before they go to say, because you fine, I mean you funny. So I started having conversations with them, encouraging them. Now, it's not easy for this male-dominated industry, but you need to know the craft and you need to be very strategic. And I feel like we need more stand-up comedians that are female to, fill up the space. We need encouragement from individuals. I remember when I won Stand-Up Comedy of the Year by Jujumo Award, maybe someone calls the course for comment session. It's funny. Yeah, this survival woman go win them when there are guys there, and if other upcoming female comedians see those comments, they will go back to their shell. They wouldn't want to, push. There are a lot of talented, very funny female comedians, but because of a lot of factors, first you are a woman. For you to be a woman for this part of the world, first the world they give you 1-0. And then the society, and there's how people see women, you're on stage, holding mic, even till now, I still get it as big as I am. You want to stand up, you want to do MC, okay? Who is the MC? You, so you just need to shop with Didi as a woman. When you don't understand the dynamics around the industry, you need to shop with Didi. Tell yourself, say, die. We'll do it regardless.
And well done to you for using your platform to encourage more women. A lot of people will say that women are their worst enemies, but in your case, you're using your show to push out other female talent. So maybe a bit more of that, and we'll begin to see more female comedians. And obviously, the men also have to throw their weight of support when they are doing their shows to get more women on board. But
they do. They try their best.
Let's move to the home side of things. How are you able to balance everything? Because being out there, putting your brand out there, putting yourself out there, of course, you have a family. How are you able to balance some of the negativity that comes with the job, and also the time that it requires of you to perform your craft?
Okay, so it's very hard. It's one of the hardest things. It's one of the hardest tasks. But at the end of the day, we have to do what we have to do. So, balancing home front and career and everything. I feel for me, first of all, you can't take out the God factor. Shout out to God, like he did my back like Zima, right? Apart from the God factor, I think I have support system. No man is an island. You don't have to do all these things by yourself. I have the best team in the world. They are there physically, spiritually, mentally. They're just there to really help me to push this. And I've been so fortunate to have the right people around me who understand the vision, who know what I want. Like when I say something, they are there to flesh it out. So what has really helped me so far is the support system. Even in the home front, my husband is so supportive. He's so supportive of me, and that's why it's easy for me to do what I have to do. Just imagine, say, I'm married husband, I'm not the support what I do. I'm not funny now.
It won't be funny.
Monday morning, they start area where they play Monday motivation. So the support system, the God factor, and I have family that supports me. My mom will just call me and pray for me and say, "Go! I saw your video. You're making me proud. Keep going." When you have people that you can talk to. My best friend is in the UK, Rebecca. Sometimes I feel so down. I feel inadequate. I feel like I'm not doing enough. Maybe I'm stressed out. Motherhood. Trying to get the job done. And then she's just talking to you. So I've just had the right people around me.
The right people around you.
And I try to prioritize. I try to do the right thing. When it's time for work, it's work. When it's family, it's family. So in the future, your picking going to say, "Mommy, you were not there for us."
True.
I get proof. So I think the support system is really.
Another thing that has helped you, and you've been very open about your journey, your weight loss journeys, is having good health. And you received quite some backlash when you came out very openly about having the gastric sleeve in,
Yes.
and even the process of maintaining the weight loss. How are you able to deal with that negativity, and what's your message to other comedians, other people who are not okay with their health and are considering surgery but are afraid of what people will say?
Okay, so I stopped hearing you for a bit.
So I said the whole issue with body positivity. Did you hear body positivity and your weight loss? You've been very open about your journey in losing weight and even maintaining that weight loss over a period of 1 year, despite the negative comments. So what message do you have for people within this industry that is fond of body shaming people, whether it's comedians, entertainers, skit makers? What message do you have for them?
Yes.
Worry Pikin, are you still there? Worry Pikin.
That reminds me, I did my surgery. A lot of them reached out to me to say, "Hey, you came out and you say something like this. How dare you? Do you want to go crazy? Do you want to be depressed?" And I tell them that I don't see 99, forget 100. In the midst of the hate, in the midst of the dragging, the trolling, there are still people who need to be motivated by my story. There are still people who need this. There are still people who have been in the journey with me, who this will benefit. And there are also good comments as well. So I don't really pay attention to the drags, as a matter of fact, I've actually lived above it. I've understood that not everybody will like you. Not everybody, me if I like. So I tell them that I'm good. And so far, it's been 1 year, and I know that a lot of people have, come to terms with the fact that being overweight has a lot of danger, and they've started working on their lifestyle, changing their diet, and they are better today. So I encouraged them. I said, that's the best decision. coming out there to say it, I can as well just keep quiet, you know, because I know me they drag me. You're quiet, you're not quiet, they'll still drag you. There are a lot of there are a lot of intelligent people out there who will know that I did something, you know. And besides the major reason why I even came out to say it was because I just want people to get inspired. And also there are a lot of people that are like me, who are foodies, who have eating disorder, who are going through a lot. And this is a shortcut to kickstart the journey. And if you have the money, you have the mind to do it, why not?
And that support system, because you always spoke about how supportive your family has been throughout that process. Now,
Yes.
What can we expect from you? You spoke a bit about your show. Are we expecting more stand-up comedy performances? Are you taking that show beyond places in Nigeria? You spoke about Ghana. Just let us into what to expect from Real Worry Pikin.
Expect from me. Okay, so We Were Peking comedy show started 2 years ago. This is like my 7th edition. The first season was We Were Peking Unfiltered. I did in Warri, Abuja, Ghana, Milton Keynes, Manchester, and London. Right? So this is the season 2, which is We Were Peking Unapologetically Me. And it's happening on Sunday, July 28th, this day Doom Abuja. And this is going to be my 7th edition. And it's going to be mind-blowing. And of course, I'm going to do US next year, do my Europe tour. I'm thinking of doing African tour. If it doesn't happen next year, maybe 20 to 26. So I'm really it's not easy. It's not easy, like I said.
Because you said there's a decrease in the amount of people that want to put their money behind these kind of shows. But yet, what's giving you that motivation to dream even bigger, considering that patronage is on the decline?
That's because I give a lot of value. Like I said, you that is a stand-up comedian doing shows, when you know there's a decline in sponsorship, you need to come up with ways that you can give them value. All they want is value. So you can start working on your social media brand, because that is the extra value that you can give them besides the publicity you're going to give them on the show. A lot of them, to get sponsors this year was difficult for me, but I had to, give them more value, make them understand that it's not just us. The economy get the way it did too. The economy is turning on its own. So, it's just you. Everything there our hand last as stand-up comedians. And at the end of the day, stand-up comedy still needs to flow. It still needs to go. It still needs to go on. So we have to put in a lot of work.
And it still needs to go on.
It still needs to go on because it's life. It's different from skits. Skit is online skit. This one is life experience coming with your family.
And there will always be people that value that.
Online comedy can't take the place of stand-up comedy. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Online can't take the place of stand-up comedy. Stand-up comedy is different.
Thank you, Real Worry Pikin. And we wish you all the best with your upcoming shows across Nigeria and beyond.
Thank you so
much. All
much.
the best. Thank you for joining us on Rubbin'Minds.
Thank you so much for having me.
Don't just stand and tease